I gave you all I own, put you on this golden throne, but I'm a little stronger now.
Welcome to the C.S. Joseph podcast. I'm your host, C.S. Joseph, and today's question is an odd question. It's an odd question. How much freedom do I give an NI user woman when I'm an SI user man? That's the question. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is probably going to be potentially dramatic here on the YouTube and on the podcast. So let's see how this goes. Well, literally the answer is this: as much as you can handle. I mean, you're a man, right? You got yourself an NI user woman. Like, for example, like the women who have been in my life, you know, as lovers, as partners, etc., wives. Like, here's my approach. I give them as much freedom as I can handle. I give them as much freedom as they want, basically, until such time some of the choices that they make end up creating consequences or messes that I have to clean up myself, which is actually very natural for an NI user woman or any NI user, because here's the situation. Introverted intuition is attached to extroverted sensing. When introverted intuition makes a choice, there's always like some kind of waste product or byproduct as a result of anyone making a choice. When they use their NI, and this goes for all the 16 types, but especially NI user types, when they use their NI and they're making a choice, it creates extroverted sensing consequences that other people have to deal with. Other SI users in their life have to clean up. And the SI user is going to be really uncomfortable with the extroverted sensing consequences created by, or not consequences, but extroverted sensing results or waste byproduct result created as a result of that NI choice. The SI user is like, well, this is making me uncomfortable. I'm going to have to clean this up. And eventually the SI user ends up becoming burdened with consequences or results of the choices of their NI user partner. This happens in every single sexual relationship between an NI user and an SI user in a sexual relationship. That's just how it is. That's normal, right? So given that is a normal thing, glad I did not lose my keys. That would have sucked. So given that this is a normal thing, you know, it really just comes down to how many messes the SI user can clean up. Because then, like, what if the SI user is partnered up with somebody who really just does not understand the consequences of their actions? So, like, for example, SPs. SP types have extroverted intuition trickster. They have extroverted intuition demon. And because of that, they're not entirely aware of the fact that when they make choices, they're creating messes for other people to clean up. And me, you know, being an SI inferior, I really don't like my introverted sensing being pressured, just like in the same way an NI inferior does not like their choice taken away. I do not like being saddled with additional obligations, burdens, pressure, messes that I have to clean up in order for me to stay comfortable. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to live my life that way. No SI user man should. So yeah, give them freedom. I mean, you know, like for example, I was married to an ESFP, am married to an ESTP now. And these NI users, they're all about freedom. They're all about choices. But then eventually they realize that their own freedom of choice creates messes for themselves to clean up with their SI nemesis. And they get worried about and burdening themselves. And you kind of got to coax them or help them learn that on their own. It's really important. Going up an extremely steep path on this hiking trail right now. Wow. You guys want to check it out? It's pretty, ooh, nice hawk up there. It's pretty steep. So, I mean, I've hiked steeper, but still, I'm not wearing hiking shoes or hiking boots for this. So yeah, I'm wearing Skechers like a dum-dum right now. So good times. But yeah, like, ooh, a snake. Hello. What kind of snake is it? You guys want to see a snake? There he goes. There he goes. Kind of looks like a red racer to me. I'll have to keep that in mind. It is technically snake season right now. There could be, I don't know if, I think rattlers are out in this area, but it's not warm enough for them. It's really not. And there's the main path. But yeah, like, it's all about, you know, what you as the SI user man can handle. Because, like, you know, it's your life, it's your roof. And something that I always explain to women in my life always is like, listen, here's the reality situation. I'm not in your life. You're in my life. I'm not living your life. You're living my life, right? This is my life we're talking about. My life is primary. And your life is just being inside of my life, basically. It's like my life is a picture frame, right? And I've invited you to be in the picture frame with me in my life, which is, you know, this picture frame, etc. So you're living my life, I'm not living yours. Which means you can have as much freedom as you want, provided you don't violate XYZ boundaries. And that's really what it comes down to. It's the SI user's man's responsibility to not shirk his masculinity. He needs to put self above the tribe being his immediate family at this point, because if you're in a sexual relationship with someone, guess what? They're part of your immediate family. That's just reality. You know, obviously a one-night stand doesn't count for that because, like, it's just a one-off here and there. But, like, you know, if you're having a regular sexual relationship with someone, guess what? They're kind of technically on paper a member of your immediate family, you know, because decisions they make will directly affect you, and decisions you make will directly affect them. So you as a masculine man have to put self above tribe, basically, right? So you're putting yourself above everyone else in your family, your community, your church, your job. It doesn't matter. You're number one. You got to treat yourself that way. It's called being responsibly selfish. It's what masculinity is all about, right? So in order to do that, it's your responsibility as a man to set boundaries and enforce those boundaries with real, actual consequences, real actions, right? So you enforce those boundaries. So, for example, if a woman violates one of my boundaries, I just withdraw from her completely. Take my time, attention, and resources and go elsewhere. I'll spend them on somebody else, or I will just spend them on myself and just not have any shared experience with them whatsoever. Something an NI user woman really just can't stand, because they all want attention, for example, right? That's what SE user women live for. They live for attention. And if they're not getting attention, especially their SE inferior, ooh, or even SE hero, they're really just not going to be able to handle it. So you got to be aware of this. You got to be aware of this phenomenon. So it's your job to be like, hey, here's my introverted sensing boundaries. You can have all of the unlimited freedom you want, provided your freedom of choice does not get in the way of my introverted sensing boundaries. You do that, and I promise you, you'll have a very successful relationship. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm not going to be here on, you know, on the podcast or on YouTube or anywhere for that matter and say, well, you know, all women should only be allowed to have XYZ amount of freedom in their relationship. That is bullshit. It's also, like, sexist, needlessly sexist. It's like, what? Who does that? No. I'm any hero, you know. I prefer when women in my life have maximum freedom, just so long as they don't put too much pressure or any pressure or burden my introverted sensing or make me uncomfortable. It's your job as the SI user man to tell her what makes you comfortable. It's not hard. And if she makes you uncomfortable, give her a warning. And if she makes you uncomfortable again, well, you gotta, real consequences then. And consequences, when I say real consequences, not good enough to be like, you know, get mad at them, have a fight, verbal altercation, or any of that. No. Consequences via real life action. It's all about taking action. Are you going to take action? Take action. Like, for example, recently, Railgun really upset me in like a big way, and I just grabbed my stuff and just left without saying anything. It was gone like the whole day, etc. And then She apologized later, realizing what she had done. And it's like, okay, you know. So like, that's just an example, right? And I'm not saying that withdrawing your time, attention, resources as an SI user is like, it's just a consequence. It is an action that you can take as a man when you're in a relationship with an NI user woman. It's one. There's so many different ways. But you as an SI user shouldn't exactly be figuring out ways for you to, you know, punish the women in your life. No. It really just comes down to establishing and enforcing boundaries. That's all it is. You just be like, hey, love, you have all the freedom in the world to do whatever you want, but here are my boundaries. And if you break them, I will enforce them. And that's it. That's all it is. That's all you have to do. That's it. So yeah, I am a huge believer. Of course, I'm biased because I have any hero. A huge believer in giving people maximum freedom. As much freedom as you, the SI user, can handle. I promise you a lot more relationship success if you do that, instead of like trying to be some authoritarian overlord. Like, seriously, think about it. How is that going to translate well for you in the bedroom? Probably not at all. So think about it. Maybe you need to spend some time thinking about the consequences, you know, of freedom management, NI management. Don't make it about her freedom. I mean, because like, then you're just orbiting her. Then you're in her life. Then you're not in your frame anymore. You're in her frame. And that's going to suck for both of you. She's actually going to lose respect for you. So don't ever think about it in terms of her freedom. Only think about it in terms of your SI. What can I deal with? What can I handle? What boundaries do I need to put up? How do I enforce those boundaries? That's all you should ever concern yourself with. Don't even concern yourself with how much freedom you give your woman. Oh my God. Like, I mean, it comes off super misogynistic when you say it. It's like, what is going on here? Why? What? Ridiculous. It's just crazy to me. So anyway, hopefully that answers this question. I think it does answer this question pretty well. If you guys would like your questions answered, go to csjoseph.life/members, become a journeyman member, and then upgrade your account to Acolyte. Acolytes get to ask these questions, and I answer them with video responses here on YouTube and on the podcast. If you're already a journeyman member, csjoseph.life/portal, click on Acolyte from there, and you can upgrade from there. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tonight on the Discord.